the reason for the price hike is because more people want to buy homes available for sale, right?
Yeah, it's not about how much you can make. It's actually about how much you can invest. Saving your money, it's going down in value. Well, of course, you need to save a certain amount for your emergency funds, and it's probably not a good idea to invest your emergency funds because that goes up and down.
I think sales is the most misunderstood skill or profession because everything in life is sales.
Mhm,
Any kind of job is sales.
mhm.
You may not call you may call it software engineer, you may call it something else. Unless there is a sale, any company would not survive.
History from the 1980s, Christopher Columbus,
Yeah.
all this stuff that's just
I mean, in life, persistence. So if you persist on something, you can beat anything. You can be smart, you can be intelligent, but someone who's persistent will always beat you there. You can never beat someone who's hungry, always there. They fail, they get up.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Dreamfar podcast.
Welcome to our podcast. Today's sixth episode. My name is Abdi Satufa.
My name is Daoud. Today we have a little bit more diverse topics to talk about. Inshallah, I'm looking forward to it. The first thing that I want to touch base on is, business mentorship and entrepreneurship. This guy is Mr. MBA. So Abdisa, let's say if you're someone who's looking to start a business, right? You just came up with your business idea, and imagine you have no funds, you have nothing. How would you go about it?
Yeah, I was recently reading actually a book about business. It's a very famous book. It's called The E-Myth. The E-Myth. It talks about how most people start their business. And the idea of the book is most people, they start their business because probably they don't like their job, they don't like their boss, and they have some technical skill. For example, a plumber, he doesn't like his job, his boss anymore. He goes open up a plumbing business. A dentist, he works as a dentist. All of a sudden, he doesn't like the employment place, so he goes opens dentist shop, dentist office. Similarly, anything in any field, maybe a baker could do the same thing, right? So the idea of the book, it actually says those people, they will go out and create another job for themselves.
Mhm.
They're not going to be entrepreneurs. They're not going to be in business. They will be working in the business.
Mhm.
So for that reason, it's always best to, before you make a decision jumping into the business, to take an idea from that book. It's better for you to do a much more research. Running a business and working in a job are very totally different things.
Absolutely.
So when you own a business, now you have more things to do than just doing the technical work.
Yeah, and I think most people who start a business, I think there's a crazy statistic on most of them fail to begin with, right? But I really like what you said is doing the research, understanding the knowledge in it, because it's so easy to see someone who's in that business that you're wanting to get into and they're so successful, but
Yeah.
you only see how they're so successful. You don't see all the work and all the stuff that they put into it to getting to that level, because two people can sit in the same place but have different views and different outcomes on certain matters. So step one should probably be, gain all the knowledge that you can inside the business.
Yes.
Some people, and this is where I would like your opinion, is that some people, they just say, just go straight into it and see what happens. Some people take the approach of, let me try to learn and study all the ins and out.
Yeah.
Which one would you advise?
So 90% of business fails on the first year. This is in America. 90% of the business who open up their shop close in the first year. The remaining closes, maybe in the remaining 75% of the remaining will close in the next fifth year. So the reason for that is people jump into the business without having proper, to make sure that running a business of its own difficulties.
Yeah.
So I would definitely, I'm those kind of person. I'm for doing your due diligence, make sure that you understand the business from in and out, so that, at least if you are in it for long term, it will require you to do a lot more research and have an understanding of the business. Just because you're passionate about something, you need to also have the technical skill, you need to have the management skill. Running a business will require more than just loving the job or knowing how to do the job. Because let's say if you're a bakery, you open a bakery store, you know how to bake, but you need to have accountant, You need to have security, cleanings. You need to have manager to run to do the numbers for you. It requires more than just a baker to run a business. So it's always better to do more. Take your time, and then you can do it. It's possible if you could actually take your time on it and make sure you have enough knowledge and skill.
Okay,
That's the key part, I think.
I see. How important do you feel like having a mentorship in this space would be? Do you feel like that's important at all?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to succeed, mentorship is very critical because they will, if you have a mentor, they will guide you, through the ups and downs of their experience. Like someone have done it before you. Don't you think it's better for you to follow someone's experience, their ups and downs, their weaknesses, all that? You don't have to get all those. You don't have to go through that.
Mhm.
It's gonna exponentially accelerate your success.
Mhm.
Absolutely, having a mentor.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's like, for example, if you're like a traveler and you want to go to a different state that
Yeah,
you never know about it, but
yeah,
you know someone who's been there in that state, and
yeah.
they can kind of give you the way. So, how do you go about finding mentors in these spaces, especially for people who are trying to start a business and trying to, escape the 9 to 5 lifestyle?
Well, it depends on what kind of business you're looking to start, obviously, but there's always mentorship programs available, also workshops, seminars done on that particular business. I think the best place to start, it depends on what kind of business, obviously, but let's say if you have someone in the family has done it, always reach out to them. If you have a family and friends, people that you went back in college with or whatever, someone who it's always easier to get a mentorship from them, but mentorship is not free because if you want to get mentorship from someone, you need to add value as well. You can't get a mentorship for free. People are busy there with their own life. So you have to be able, you have to try to find a way to add value to that person for them to take you as a, to mentor you.
If that's not America, I don't know what is.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, absolutely, because the way I see it, look, let's say,
No, I think there's some good mentors that just they want to help people like how someone helped them. Because usually everyone has
I,
had that one person that they just helped them. They didn't.
not really. I mean, I can help you one day. Look, example, let's
Okay,
say
go
someone
ahead.
who want to come into real estate business, they come to me. Absolutely, I'm open to give my advice and my own experience, share my experience. However, I can't sit down and leave my job and sit down with you and every day give you, every day show you the guidance. It's not possible. So, but the way to approach mentors is to add value in their life. For example, let's say, you know, let's say if you want to get into real estate, and let's say if I invest in real estate, go out of your way and call maybe real estate agents, wholesalers, bring some deal. Like if you could bring me some real estate deal that I have no contact, bring some probably give me a contractor's contact, add some value so I can, the time I'm spending with you, I'll be happy to help because you're adding value. For example, work for someone who's already been doing that job. If you want to get that job, work for them for free.
Mhm.
That's basically mentorship is. I mean, I don't know free mentorship. I don't know what kind of mentorship you're talking about. If helping someone, I can help you for a day too, but
To continue sustaining that relationship.
that's what's called a mentorship because it's not a one-time advice. I can give you an advice how to open a business, but mentorship is hand-holding.
Because in a lot of the cases is after you help the same person one or twice and they're not bringing you value, the fourth, fifth time they call you, you're not going to be so eager to answer, possibly.
Absolutely, because you only have so much time. You can't dedicate to mentoring someone else. You have your own responsibilities.
No,
Does that
I
make
hear
sense?
you. I hear you.
So the best way to find a mentor, and find them a positive response is to add value.
Okay, that's great. So sales.
Hmm.
Sales is very interesting. When people think about sales, they think about always convincing someone to go with you.
Yeah.
But one thing that I think about sales is the best salespeople are the ones who kind of come off as advisors.
Yeah.
Because when we think about it, no one likes to be sold. The moment you feel like someone's trying to sell you, you kind of immediately put a guard up. I remember in the beginning of my career as a loan officer, when I was trying to tell someone about Islamic financing and guidance, they were like, "Man, you're a sales guy." And then immediately I was like, "Oh gosh, I went about it the complete wrong way."
Hmm.
But rather, when I began to just talk to people as if just trying to help them, trying to match our benefits with what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
that's when you can kind of really be able to help the person, when you find out what exactly that they're looking for, and then you tell them why what you provide is good for them. So it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like an advisor.
Absolutely.
Immediately it takes away that whole idea of you're trying to sell them. And then they're just happy. Now they're just happy. They want to go with you because they feel like you have their best interest at mind.
I think sales is the most misunderstood skill or profession because everything in life is sales.
Mhm.
Any kind of job is sales.
Mhm.
You may not call you may call it software engineer, you might call it something else. Unless there is a sale, any company would not survive.
Mhm.
Every single, whether Microsoft, Amazon, Google, whatever, if they don't sell, the company has no money. They cannot pay their software engineers, they cannot pay their management, all that stuff. Sales is the most
It's
important.
the engine.
It's engine of economy, engine of any company anywhere. And sales skill, whether you are a CEO, any position, sales is what runs the world.
Mhm.
And it's the most important skill in life. Kids, for example, I mean, it's something that we do every day. We don't notice it. Your kids are trying to sell you something every day. Say, hey, they try to be sweet. They try to convince you about something. They are actually the kids are the. If we had actually the skill that our kids had,
Mhm.
we would be the best salespeople. So it's obviously selling is not it's not about convincing people. It's about helping people.
Mhm.
If you because you can never sell something unless you figure out what the customer wants and provide that solution for them, whether it's a service, whether it's a product.
Mhm.
That's what selling is. It's not
Mhm.
about convincing someone to blindly buy something. No, that's not
Yeah, I mean,
so.
how often do we get like calls on our phone and you get this marketer that's just saying a bunch of things and they're not even asking you what you're looking for or even if
Absolutely.
you're interested?
Yes. Selling is
Um,
asking, you have to ask someone what they want. And if he can't provide a solution, don't waste your time and their time.
yeah.
You need to be able to provide a solution. I think that's sales for me.
Mhm. How important is it, the psychology in sales, of understanding what the customer needs and what they're looking for?
I think it's all about the customers. You're trying to solve a problem for the customer. You need to focus on that, and if you focus on that and sell on that, it's not even selling. You're an advisor now because
Yeah.
I focus on what your problems you have. Try to identify what you're looking for. I only sell you what you want.
Hmm.
You don't. You just change your mindset when you're a salesperson. When you communicate with trying to sell something, I think the best thing to work on it is change your mindset. I'm not a salesperson. I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm just trying to find a solution for this person. And you bring an empathy because that's very important. People can sense that behind it.
I agree with you, but there's also sometimes where you have to be a salesperson when it's time to when they're competing with your other buyers and stuff like this.
Well, that's why we have sales strategies,
Yeah.
to compete. It's another story, but you never want to sell something that customer does not want. You can sell one time, but you can't fool them another second time.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Because I think in sales, especially people in the mortgage industry, you're trying to build a relationship for the long term. You, if you, for example, in the real estate industry or mortgage industry, you will be helping someone in their life. You buying them a house or you financing their home. You have a chance to sell their home in the future, help them refinance. You're going to get multiple transactions from them. So that's how you have to look at it holistically. Try to help them. Help if you help them, people understand if you actually sold them on a bad deal. People will sense it. You may think they don't know, but people will sense it. So
Yeah.
so obviously competition is there. When you also compete, the strategies don't talk bad about competition. Focus on what you can do for the customer.
What if your competition is talking bad about you?
Well, actually, by competition talking about bad about you, they're promoting you. That's how I see it. Because if you are, let's say, you're working with company X, and customers deal with company X, and you start all of a sudden broke company Y, oh, like you just promoted company Y. Probably
So
this.
what if in a case where a lot of customers where, you know, it's the reality is customers these days they shop around a lot.
Yes,
If they're talking about, especially when it comes to mortgages, that's the like
yes,
the where they're usually always shopping around.
it's fair. It actually it's recommended for them to shop around.
Hmm.
It's a good thing because you want to get the best number, especially when a mortgage, because there's a lot of options available, a lot of programs, different kind of programs available. it's always best to shop around what works for the customer the best, what works for you the best. There's nothing wrong with it. But as a salesperson, I don't think you should just only compete on the price. You compete on your service. If you give a customer peace of mind, make sure they're taken care of. You make them feel like they are like your most important customer. They will not even shop you around. They'll say, "Hey, this guy, he got that. This guy understands what we want," and they will stick with you. At the end of the day, if they start shopping around for rate, you always have to bring an additional value. In sales, nobody makes the final decision by just price. People make a decision. They don't make a decision on the price. Price could be a factor, but there's always something else.
That's true. That's true. You have to figure out what that is.
Absolutely, and just help them build on that. If you are a good salesperson, you will listen more than speaking. If you listen, you can listen between the lines.
Exactly.
Things they're not saying. So I think that works for a lot of top salespeople.
Especially in our industry, how often is it that you're maybe talking to the family member or the one that's not even going to be making the decision?
It's very common in a mortgage. When you buy a home, the whole family becomes a financial advisor. The Uncle Bob, Uncle Sam, Uncle Jamal, or whatever.
Yeah.
They say, "Oh, don't buy. It's a bad market. The market's gonna crash." They will find a way to talk you out of it. So at the end of the day, I mean, my recommendation is to always listen to the professional. Do your own research. Don't just listen to someone who's never bought a home, someone who's never actually even seen a home. So make sure you listen to the right information, the right source.
Absolutely, absolutely. I completely agree with you.
So yeah, one of the reasons that we do this podcasts and videos, all that stuff, is to educate the community about personal finance, real estate, investing in real estate, or in general investment, is to provide the benefits of the knowledge of finance. So yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And another reason why is that to help anyone in any career that they're into, how to advance, how to go from one situation to another, the mindset, the belief and process of going through the journey, of trying to become, of course, successful.
That's true. That's true.
So one thing so when it comes to real estate and Islamic financing, buying a home right now, a lot of people say it's so difficult.
Yeah.
Would you feel like now is a good time to buy, even with the market in its current situation?
Yeah, I think it's last 2 years, I would say 23 and this 24, and even part of 2022, the real estate market has kind of shifted with the increasing of mortgage rates, and also the home price has continuously been rising, and like it's been becoming more expensive and unaffordable for middle-class families to buy home. And we understand that it's so home ownership is very important and critical for our community. So for that reason, I would say if you can afford to make the mortgage payment, if you can qualify for a mortgage right now, if you at least saved up for the minimum down payment of 5% down, absolutely, it's always been, in my opinion, it's a good time to buy a home, because it's not going to get any better. The real estate price is not going to get better. It's not going to get any lower. It's going to be more expensive. At the end of the day, the reason for the price hike is because more people want to buy homes available for sale, right?
Yeah, and one thing I want to add too, it's better to just start somewhere when it comes to real estate. Even if you can't get the single family home, there's nothing wrong with the condominium. Condominium, and there's a lot of business strategies that you can do with a condominium. When it's time for you to move into your single home, eventually you can rent out your condominium, maybe Airbnb it, sell it. And condominiums, they increase in value as well. So anywhere starting when it comes to just owning something is always going to be better and more advantageous than renting.
Yeah, owning real estate, it does not mean that jump from renting a 2-bedroom apartment to all of a sudden 6-bedroom house. It doesn't have to be like that. It's a step up. If you buy something that you can afford, buy something that which is within your means. Don't just look at the house, look at also the mortgage payment. Are you comfortably able to pay the monthly payment? If you can do that, absolutely. If you can find a house that is good for your family, you feel like you can raise your kids there, see your family growing there, the school is good, you like the neighborhood, absolutely you should buy it. And then, you can in the future down the line, you should be able to refinance when the rate eventually goes down.
Hmm.
That is expectation is going to go down as well. So
It's better to secure the house than to just continuously waiting, because you're not the only person who's also waiting. When the rates go down,
yeah,
if the rates go down to 5 to 6%, how much people are in the market right now?
yes,
How much people are going to start having the bidding wars, as we saw during the time of
that's
COVID,
true. That's
where
true.
home values were marketed 200, 300,000. And a lot of that is why we're in the situation that we're in now,
That's
is the
true.
correction that's kind of going on.
Yeah,
And
because
the inflation. Yeah, it caused
anyone who
inflation.
bought a home in the last 10, 15 years, they refinanced their mortgage to a 3% or 2.5% rate, which means those people are not motivated to sell the home.
Mhm.
It's pretty clear. And I don't expect anything to change unless the rate comes down to that stage. There's also not as much construction as we should have been built in the last 10 years, which means there's a shortage in the market. There's more people who want to buy a home. And also there are millennials, like the millennial generation, are trying to buy a home, but the homes are, the boomers, right? They're not selling us home as much because people also they're even extending their what's called the retirement age. It's another problem as well. So this issue is going to continue, especially in cities like Seattle,
Mhm.
anywhere around Seattle. There's a more demand to buy a home because people are moving here. There's better jobs.
Yeah, better
I expect
opportunity.
the home prices right now, average in King County, is about almost 800,000.
Mhm.
This would be $1 million in a year or so.
Oh yeah,
You're going to be
definitely.
priced out if you're not a homeowner. In 2 3 years, whatever you can afford right now, may not even be able to afford it in 2 years.
And that's what happens. It keeps weeding out people.
Absolutely.
And now it's at the point where it's like the people that can buy a home is the people that can at least have $10,000 to $11,000 a month. It's not the $8,000 for anyone who's making $8,000 a month.
Just 5 years ago, I remember 5 6 years ago, back in 2017 and 18, you could buy a decent home in Kent for like 4 bedroom home for 350, 400,000.
Wasn't that the price of your home? Like
Yeah, it was around 450-ish.
gosh. And your home is a beautiful home, by the way, too. Now I guarantee your home is like what, 700,000,
700, 750-ish.
Crazy,
Yeah,
man.
this is like a few years ago. So and you could qualify for those for like with 600,
That's why
60.
for us, the people who are young, because back in 2018, I'm not, I wasn't ready, obviously. I
Yeah,
was
more people who are younger than you now,
exactly
they come into the market right now.
exactly.
It's not gonna be easier.
Yeah.
Like if you find some people like, oh, I bought my home back in like 1975 for
For
$80,000.
80,000, yeah.
Well, yeah, not anymore. Like probably that house is $1 million right now.
Mhm.
It's gonna be because inflation is there, the value of the money itself is a problem, and also the demand and supply. At the end of the day, just like there's more people want to buy a home than homes available.
Yeah.
The housing is problem in America and around the world.
So what we're seeing now is a lot of people are moving down further south, because it's cheaper down there, right?
That's true.
Pierce County, Thurston County is down more south as well. Is that
Oh,
right?
so when you say south, I was expecting like south of the country,
No,
south
no, I'm
belt.
sorry. South, like south, like for example, Pierce County, Thurston County.
Yeah, people are moving further out from Seattle, from the
Exactly.
center. In north as well, people are going further out
Brother,
north, further west, further east.
I see people who are living, in Pierce County that are working all the way in Sammamish, area. They're 1 hour commute, because
Yeah,
also the ability to work from home has allowed people to buy where it's more cheaper.
that's true.
That has made a big thing, especially for those who are in tech, making a good amount of income, maybe a
Work
hundred
from home
thousand.
and probably work or going to office 2 days, 3 days.
Yeah, you only have to go office 2 days, 3 days, so it's not bad to go live all the way down.
That's true.
So that's still available. But I think that's what's amazing about here in this Washington is that, it's
Yeah,
properties here are constantly going up in value more so than other states as well. I think
that's
I
true.
read an article where Washington is one of the highest growing properties and
Yeah,
highest value.
because at the end of the day, the home pricing also follows the economy. What's going on in the economy? There's a lot of tech companies here paying high, well-paying jobs, 100,000, 120,000. So the median income, for example, in King County is right now $130,000. So which means there are people who are making well off, like making a lot of money. So those people can buy homes. They're able to afford homes. Means the home price is going to go up because there's a demand for it, and there's not as much home for sale in the market. It's a pretty simple supply and demand. It's not going to get any better.
Yeah.
It's not going to get any better. I don't see the builders are catching up with the supply anytime soon. So the best strategy as a homeowner, as someone who's looking to become a homeowner, is to buy. When you're able to find a home that works for you, buy it, and don't worry about the rates. The rates eventually going to come down, and when the rate comes down, you already own a home. You don't have to compete with the huge influx of demand of home buyers.
It's not about how much you can make. It's actually about how much you can invest.
That's true.
Saving your money, is going down in value. Well, of course, you need to save a certain amount for your emergency funds, and it's probably not a good idea to invest your emergency funds because that goes up and down. So put aside some money for your emergency funds, or whatever, 6 months to a year, and then after that, saving to invest, right? The number one killer of your money and the number one killer of stress is bills.
Yeah.
But there is actually there's voluntary bills and there's involuntary bills, right? The voluntary bills is stuff like you getting a car payment, maybe an expensive phone bill, you getting other credit cards that you always have to continuously pay off. The involuntary is something you have no control over, which is your shelter, your groceries, your car gas. That's completely understandable, right?
Yeah.
But then the voluntary bills is the big car payments and all these things. So paying off your debt, one, will allow you to feel like you're making more of your money, right? Second thing is that when you're also looking to buy a home, you qualify for more. And you're able to actually buy a home that is more, you can get a bigger mortgage, a higher mortgage to finance a property that you're looking for.
I agree with you 100%. I think one of the investment tools that really people it's not talked about a lot. It's not really people don't talk about it as a shiny investment tool. Is a 401k. If your company is offering a 401k option, you should definitely take it, because one, if they're contributing towards usually most companies, if you're working for a company, usually they have a 401k.
This can be tricky for Muslims because sometimes you have to go out of your way to make sure that they're not investing into haram things.
That's true.
So it can be tricky.
It's absolutely tricky, but if they're offering something that's halal, because you can always have to look into.
Yeah, you have to set it up yourself in terms of which ones you want to invest into.
That's true, but it's a very good investment tool.
Yeah.
Another thing as well, if you are looking to invest in stock, always look into investing in ETFs. There's a lot of Islamic investment options as well, Amana funds, Wahid investment, a few others. You have to make sure that if employers offer those options are available as well. I mean, Amana mutual fund is almost offered by everyone. So absolutely, that's the biggest investment tool, because you don't even know where the money is being invested, and eventually over the long run, you can have a passively invest. That's one. Second option is always make sure you are saving your money, but not just to save it, to keep the money in the bank so the banks will get rich out of it. The best strategy is maybe invest money in stock. If you have individual stocks, that's another option, but always recommended to invest in ETFs.
So what would you say the recommended amount is to have in a bank for you?
6 months to 12 months of expense.
That's it.
And
then also probably your bills, so that way you can.
Well, that's the bills. Say if your monthly expense is like $4,000, you should have at least 24,000 in the bank. If your monthly expense, at least that's a minimum. Sometimes you may have to keep a 12 months reserve, like it means $4,000 times 12, that's 48,000. Anything more than that, you're just wasting your money in your account. You have to get rid of it, because that's a trash. It's money losing value. The minimum you could do is invested in stock, ETFs, at least that maybe an individual stocks. Put it in there. If you put it in the bank, that's losing value. Buy real estate in it, buy something. Because you want your money to work for you.
Exactly.
If you are saving, you're losing your money.
Mhm.
I mean, it's better than spending it, but it's money sitting in the bank. The bank is investing it. You think your money is sitting safe. The bank is doing whatever it wants with it. And it's giving you nothing
Yeah,
in return.
I read something where, there's different classes of what to do with your money.
Yes,
There's some people who think, like the lower people in terms of being able to invest and save their money, because what a lot of people don't understand is a lot of wealthy people, they make actually less than 100,000 a year.
that's
They
true.
don't make a lot of money,
That's
but they're smart with their money, right?
That's true.
And then there are obviously some people who have a high salary, but their liabilities and everything is just as high.
Yeah,
Because a lot of people have the mindset where they get the money, they spend the money. Get the money, they spend the money,
it's American
And
lifestyle.
then there's maybe a step
They actually spend more than what they make.
yeah, and then there's a
Credit
step
card
there's
through
a
credit
step
card.
there's a step above that where they will get the money and they save the money.
Oh,
So that's it. Just get the money, let me just save it. Okay, cool.
that's
And
true.
then there's obviously, and then it gets broken down to a third of people where they'll get the money, they'll save it, and they invest, right?
That's
And then
true.
I read a book where it's like the best one out of all of them is the other option where you get the money, you save it, you
Mhm.
invest it, and then you donate it. Like in terms of like charities. This is what the
Even
person
better.
said.
It's even better. That's even better.
Yeah. So being able to understand finances and money is so important. A lot of people, for them, it's even for themselves, it's uncomfortable to look into their own financing because it tells them a lot of things that they want to avoid, they want
That's
to
true.
run away from. They don't want to open up and start up a spreadsheet where they can look where everything is going and look where their money is going. They don't want to do that. They just kind of want to just be
Yeah,
like, you know what,
it's a
I'll
very
get it.
stressful. It's a very
It is.
stressful situation. I mean, it's a common for a lot of people, like not even to think about how much their monthly expenses. It's itself, it's a draining and it's tiring sometimes to do that.
Because it's like
Uh,
for some people, it's like a feeling herder. Why do I want to hurt my feelings?
yeah,
You know?
let's just wing it. We don't want to look into it.
Yeah, and that's why there's this where people hire like financial advisors. Financial advisors don't do anything. They just look at your situation and they see, you know what, put your money here, put your money here. You can get all that knowledge from this podcast
You've been
or
watching
reading a
that show a
book.
lot, huh? You've been
The
watching.
Get Rich.
I'll teach you how to get rich.
Yeah, I watched that, but he said a lot of stuff about the financial advisors.
Yeah,
But yeah, understanding what to do with your money and where to invest it is a great skill to have.
that's true. Absolutely, and not only that as well. It's also managing your credit is very important.
Mhm.
A lot of people neglect it.
They think it's their own money. That's the problem.
Yeah,
But people, when they use their credit cards, they think, oh, this is my money. Because the word credit is convincing. Because a lot of times when you think of credit, you think of something that's being given to you. But the reality is, even when you spend $1 from your credit card, that's a loan. So,
that's true.
no, at $10, okay, it's a $10 loan that you have to pay back. And if you don't pay it back by the end of the month, then it's a ding on your credit score. Right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So making sure that you don't get any derogatory reported on your account. Make sure you don't have a collection. Make sure make sure you pay your liabilities on time. Make at least the minimum payment, and also keep your balance below 30%, preferably 10%. Manage your credit. It's another part of actually maintaining your finances, having a good financial status, because not a lot of people taught this in schools.
No one's taught this in school. We
Yeah,
learn about history from the 1980s, Christopher Columbus,
yeah.
all this stuff that's just no use.
I just don't understand it sometimes. I
What
think
they
that
teach, huh?
they intentionally looks like they don't want you to learn this stuff.
They want you to be in debt, almost,
Yeah, I just don't understand. It's very like, this actually.
I don't think
believe
there's a financial literacy. I don't know if
I
they don't
believe
have it in high
this
school.
actually class needs to be given in high school as a
Financial
class,
literacy.
as like credit, high school credit.
Yeah.
Financial literacy. You need to have an idea about how to manage your credit, how to manage your finance, how to save, how to invest.
Because
This is not taught.
what happens is that once someone graduates from high school, whatever, and they're done with college, they go immediately into a hole of
Yeah, a big
$50,000
hole.
loan debt.
That's another scam. To be honest with you, the student loans. I mean, there's some kind of field that you can study actually worth it getting the loan for, but because an 18 years old can get an $80,000 loan.
It's just insane.
Probably can't even drive. You can't even do some stuff. You can't. There's a lot of things you can do. You can get $80,000
$80,000 loan.
loan.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's crazy. And then they graduate with
And that's
psychology
just so
or
much pressure just
history.
right on top of your head, you
Yeah,
know?
and they graduate with history degree or
Oh
psychology or
god.
sociology, whatever kind of degrees that does not even land a job.
Uh,
And then you have to pay the loan. You don't even have a job. This is crazy.
yep.
So it's always, it's good to be financial literate. It's very, very important.
Well, a lot of these kids, you know, for anyone who's in high school that's about to graduate, the scholarships, try to take advantage of as much as the scholarships and everything. But someone who advised me is that, hey, man, go, because a lot of people, they don't know what they want to do. There's a lot of pressure for someone who's young that's
Yes,
just graduating high school. They don't know what they want to do. So go in the workforce, try to see if you can find some type of a job. And then you can try to build off whatever you like, you know, find a job with what you're doing. Because a lot of employers, they don't just look at the degree, you know,
that's true.
they
There's
they
actually a
look at
pressure that to
experience.
have, oh, that degree. I mean, a degree is important. I'm not saying degree is important, but education is important. Having that
That's
is
true.
life, having that actually spent that 4 years in college yourself, having to go through that difficult, the assignments or the college life itself, going through that is very important for someone who's young, 18, 19.
But if you have a degree in a space where it's hard to get a job from, because when you really think about it, there's only few places where you really need a degree in
Yes.
to advance in a career place.
I
You
mean,
know,
I look at it in two ways. Because one, you need that experience of going to college and going through that difficulty of
of course, you build a network as well. Yeah.
network plus experience, and also you're going to be matured spending that time instead of someone just jump into a workforce from high school. It's kind of your trajectory for success, it become more difficult.
Mm.
It's right now with the current time, actually having a degree is just basic education the way it looks like, because everybody has master's degrees, 2 degrees, 3 degrees. Because if you're in workforce, sometimes master's degree is minimum requirement. So it's good to be getting a college degree, but make sure that's something marketable, something you can market right away. If it's something like a finance degree, something in accounting, something computer science, healthcare, something that you can actually market right away. It's very
benefits
yeah.
out
I
of
mean,
it.
yeah, you getting into a loan, you're getting spending your 4 years of your very valuable time. At least make it something that really works. I mean, it's not only something you like. There's this idea that, oh, go for something you're passionate about. How about I'm passionate about sociology or something, but I'm
Or
not gonna
being a
find a
music
job.
teacher,
Yeah.
music teacher. Yeah.
I'm not gonna find a job in it.
Yeah.
Because you also have to look at the economic advantage of side of it, because especially as an immigrant community, because you have family that raised you with no with little financial finances, right?
Yeah.
You'll make sure that at least when you graduate, you'll be able to support yourself and maybe support your family as well.
Yeah.
So it's better to, even if difficult, math is difficult, try to work harder. I'm sure you can learn anything
Mhm.
if you put time into it.
Especially with Chat GPT, man.
Yeah. Now we have knowledge,
You know,
education, information abundant.
a lot of these kids in college, man, they don't even take their own classes. They're not even taking their own tests.
I mean, I don't advise that to do that, but if you want to learn something, if you don't understand something, ChatGPT can do anything right now. You
They
can
can
actually
help
talk
you.
to. I
Yeah.
don't know if you saw the new ChatGPT. You can talk to her. You can actually talk to her.
Have a full blown
Yeah,
conversation.
like it's ChatGPT 4.0.
Chat GPT is gonna take
You
everyone's
can
jobs.
have a conversation with her, ask her about anything,
Yeah.
and she'll give you an answer. You can even ask her, hey, can you translate that in Arabic? Can you she speak about 15 or 16 language. You can ask her, literally translate everything you say in another language. Man, it's amazing. So in these days, the abundance of the information that we have, you can literally learn anything.
Mhm.
Literally learn anything.
I think more than anything that's very important is the hustle, you know, being a hardworking, you know, being disciplined, you know, because no matter you can have all the talent, everything in the world, but if you're not someone who's disciplined and works hard for something, then you're always going to get left behind,
Absolutely.
you know, no matter what, because everything has a competition. So if you're trying to get into computer science, if you're trying to get into anything, you're competing, literally competing with so many people, you know,
Absolutely.
every job you're looking for, when you're trying to apply for the job, there's hundreds of applicants on that same job. So
yeah, I mean, in life, persistence. So if you persist on something, you can beat anything. You can be smart, you can be intelligent, but someone who's persistent will always beat you there. You can never beat someone who's hungry, always there. They fail, they get up.
they show up right on time, right on the
Yeah, they
spot,
got
keep
the
going.
grits. You can never beat that. It's like, obviously we always talk about us work smart, work smart, work smart. But working hard.
You're working hard, yeah.
Yeah, always there. I mean, you can work smart while working hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't have one or other ways, both together. So yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, at the end of the day, it's good that we do this event. And today's podcast was a little bit broad. We try to touch a different social, finance, topics. Hopefully, it was beneficial. This is it's going to be a weekly podcast. Tune in to learn
Inshallah.
more and follow our page. Thank you so much for the follow and for your comments. Appreciate you. And anything?
I know you hit everything on the spot. We're just here to try to help with financial literacy, help individuals know what to do with their money, the importance of investing into real estate. And if you can't invest into real estate, what are the steps you can to take, such as building your credit score, taking care of your liabilities and debts, and how to grow in your professional space or even, starting a business if you're liking to start a business. So I
Yeah.
hope there are some benefits. Hopefully we want you guys to be more engaging. So if you have any topics, any ideas you want us to talk about, please shoot us a DM, inshallah.
Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.